Okay, we're recording. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to the solstice. And tonight is really special because Saturn and Jupiter are like 0.1 degree or something away from each other. And there's theories that the Christmas star was this same event. It happens every 20 years. I don't know if you heard about this. It is tonight. It was 1 hour past sunset. My kids are out looking for the star in the country tonight. I don't know if they'll find it because it's overcast. But yeah, they say this may be the event that was the Christmas star, because when the two get so close together, I guess they blur into one another and look kind of like diamond shaped, elongated. So it's a really special night that would happen on the solstice of 2020 at the end of this very tumultuous year. So that, I think that's kind of auspicious. So why don't we get comfortable in a seated position tonight? We started on our back the last couple of times, not the chair yoga, but the restorative. So why don't we start seated, and whatever that means for you, if you want to grab something to sit on, to raise your hips up a little bit. Sometimes that's comfy. I'm just going to show what I use sometimes. I've got this flat block. It's like a cinder block. It's like a really stiff sponge. And I find that if I put that under my hips, just gives you that little bit of rise. I feel like I can get my spine a little straighter. So if that's an idea that might work for you, whether it's a book or a pillow, sitting on the edge of it, just kind of snuggling in, wiggling around to find a place of comfort where we can just sink in, roll back our shoulders, sink our hips into the earth, lift our hearts, relax our faces, and begin to bring our focus to the breath. Maybe as we're bringing the focus to the breath, to making it longer and deeper and slower, perhaps there's an intention around gratitude or joy or something to do with the season that might be coming up for you. It's entirely up to you. A feeling or a phrase or a color or a single word. Just if there's something that's lurking about or popping up for you, I invite you just to bring that intention towards you. Maybe tuck it into your heart space. Maybe it's joy, maybe it's relief, maybe it's surrender to the moment, maybe it's self-love, self-compassion, forgiveness, whatever might be coming up for you in this moment. I'd like to welcome you from the depths of my heart. This is a special evening, and we're just a few days before the beautiful celebration of Christmas. It's such a holy time, such a time of reflection and peace and busyness. And sometimes during this time of busyness, it's easy to forget about our own needs and not fill up our own cup. But we're so busy thinking about taking care of others and planning and gift giving. And so this moment, this hour, just for you, is something very special. So I give kudos to all of you for taking this time. And even if you've chosen to listen to this at another time to take part later, absolutely, this is your time. And I really acknowledge you for taking this time just for you, to nourish your mind, your soul, your body, to fill up your own cup in this time of busyness. So back to the breath, feeling the beautiful expansion of the inhale as we lift our hearts in gratitude and love. As we relax our faces, our brow, our cheeks, our jaw, our lips, our chins, and we sink into the breath. Breathing in to expand and engage, and exhaling maybe to release. If you want to use your hands, I welcome you to do that. If that helps you just kind of tune in, get a little more interoception happening, which is the fancy word for just tuning into your inner sensations, to the breath, to the heartbeat, circulation. A couple more deep, beautiful breaths. Lifting up our heart space, lifting through the crown, sinking down through the hips. Let's breathe in. Exhale, take our noses over to our left shoulder. Let's inhale back to center. Exhale over to the right side, looking over towards that shoulder. Inhaling center. Exhaling back to the left shoulder. Taking a look. Back to center with the breath. And exhaling to that second side. Back to center. Breathing in. Let's exhale the left ear down to that left shoulder. Let's inhale it back up to center. Exhale it to the other side. Back to center with the inhale. And exhaling really slow and gentle and loving. Inhaling to center. And exhaling to the other side. Breathing back to center. Now let's open our arms, palms forward. Breathe in as we lift our hearts. Lift our faces. And exhale, wrapping those hands around as we get toward torso. One arm on top of the other as we round the spine a little bit. Into beautiful robin's breath. Let's inhale, open again. Gratitude, love, and joy. Exhaling, sweeping the arms around into a hug. The other arm comes on top, rounding the spine a little bit. Inhaling again to open into our robin's breath. Exhaling to close that first arm on top. Self-compassion, self-love, filling your cup. That's what tonight is about. Self-love, self-compassion, self-care, celebration of all of us, each of you, celebration of the self. Back down. Let's take our fingertips behind us, drop them onto the earth. Lift up our hearts, squeeze our shoulders together to get really tall. Let's breathe in to lift our hearts. Exhale around the spine, dropping our heads down towards our chest. Inhaling to raise our gaze, raise our smiles, raise our hearts. Exhale to round down. Let's do 2 more of those because the little bitty baby back bends are lovely for the spine. Inhale up. The horses have arrived. My kids are home and they're thumping around up there. I hope you can't hear them. They forget that I'm down here doing this. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Rounding the spine. So nice. I'm just going to take this little block. I forgot I was sitting on it. We're going to inhale, hands up again. Exhale, this time turning to the side. I love this move. We'll drop the left hand onto the right knee. Take that right arm behind us as we take our gaze behind us to a beautiful tall spine. Hearts lifted. I'm saying, hi, Mom. They totally forget I'm down here. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling to the other side. Hand on knee, the other hand behind. Beautiful straight spines. Relaxing the face, letting that feeling of joy. Just let everything relax and lift. Breathing back to center on the inhale. Exhaling to that first side. Hand on knee, the other hand dropping behind to a beautiful straight spine. And inhaling back to center. And exhaling to that second side. Love it. Back to center. Let's extend the right leg long. Keep the left knee tucked in. Here we are. I'm still on my carpet. I'm not even on my mat yet. Okay. Here we are with one leg extended, one leg tucked in. Got the giant tree trunk happening, I see now. If you have your camera on yourself, you can see yourself. You probably have the same thing going, a super long leg and a really big foot. Nice and tall through the spine, turning our torso towards that bent knee, opening up our wings, tickling our calf with that baby finger, taking our gaze behind us in the inhale. Exhaling to sweep across. Hands meeting in front. The gaze is following the moving hand. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to close. Inhaling to open. Smooth and beautiful and soft. Closing on the exhale. And one more inhale to open up the fan. The breath is moving the body. Exhaling to sweep it closed. We'll breathe that arm open again. We'll plant the hand down in the area of that bent knee and we'll sweep up across the diagonal into our stargazer pose, really reaching from the toes right across your fingers. And let's circle that arm. Gentle through the shoulder girdle. Using the breath, feeling the breath, move the arm. So big, beautiful breaths with the sweep of the arm. We'll change direction, go the other way, feeling the breath, moving the arm. One more sweep, and then we'll let the hand guide the hips back to the floor. Down we go, and we'll change sides. Other foot reaching long, tall through the spine. Let's take our torso towards it. Bent knee, open up our wings. Bing, pinky finger, tickling that calf, taking our gaze back on the inhale. Exhaling a sweep across, hands meeting in front. The gaze is following the moving hand, breathing that hand open. Exhaling it closed. Inhaling it open. Exhaling it closed. And we'll do one more of those as we sweep it open on the inhale. And we exhale it closed. One more. Opening with the breath, plant the hand, coming across the diagonal. I'm off camera here, but oops, I tipped over my water. I have a very small space I'm working with here. We're across the diagonal into our stargazer. Good pose name for tonight. Hey, with that star happening, sweeping the arm. I might go out later and be a stargazer myself. See if I can find that Christmas star in the sky. Letting the breath move that arm. We'll change sides. Sweeping around with the arm, gentle with the shoulder. The breath is moving the arm, and we'll sweep it one more time. Up and over and down to the floor. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's come back to our cross-legged position, if that's something that's available and comfortable. Now, taking the left bent knee, let's just gently cross over the right bent knee. And if this is a little bit intense, that right knee can become a straight leg. If it works to have the leg crossed, perfect. Either way, we're gonna wrap that left arm around, the other way, the right arm around that bent left knee. Take our left hand behind, our gaze with it, into that twist. It's called half lord of the fish. Breathing into our beautiful straight spines and our hips sinking into the earth, lifting through our crown, getting really tall. Breathing. Nice. Now let's just release that, unwind from that, and invite our forehead down towards that front foot, the chest down in that direction. Doesn't matter how far you get, we're just getting a bit of a counter stretch in that front thigh. You'll feel that kind of down the hamstring and the hip. Breathing. Dropping the forehead down if you wish. Breathing back up, unwinding. We're going to change sides. That bent leg, going to bring it back. Before we do, though, we'll bring the soles of the feet together into cobbler, sometimes called bound angle pose. Finding whatever's available. Now, that can mean your legs are quite down, quite close to your body. It could mean that they're way out here. Doesn't matter. Whatever enables you to feel a nice opening in the hips and to get the spine straight. We don't want to sacrifice the straightening of the spine in order to get the feet closer together. It's all about the back, about the spine, being nice and tall. Breathing. Now, if it's comfortable for you, we can let our hands slide down to our ankles and invite the forehead down to the feet. Breathing. Breathing into the hips, into the pelvic floor, into the belly and the back. Now releasing that as we come on up, and we'll take that right leg, cross it over the bent left knee, or if you wish, we can extend that left leg long, wrapping the left arm around that front knee, taking the right hand behind, straight, beautiful spines, tall through the crown, breathing deep in the hips into our half lord of the fish pose. Nice, nice, nice. Relaxing the jaw and the cheeks and the lips and the tongue between the brow. And releasing that, inviting that chest and forehead towards that front foot. Into a bit of a position of humility. bowing down into the sweet spot we feel in that thigh, that hip flexor. Maybe you feel the hamstring, maybe you feel the glutes. And let's come up out of that. Unwinding gently and lovingly, planting the feet on the floor in front of us. Finding our malasana. Now, malasana is the squat. And again, lots of versions of it. If you want to have your block handy for support, that's awesome. Going to come up either on the flat feet, up on the toes, or if you want to slip your block underneath your hips for full support, that's perfect too. If you don't have a block, a couple of books would work, a few hockey pucks stacked. Just kidding, actually, of hockey pucks. Finding your squat, your malasana. Sinking the feet or the toes deeply into the earth. If it's comfortable to do so, we can prayer our hands, tuck our elbows against our knees, straighten the spine, exert some gentle pressure with the elbows against the knees and knees against the elbows, feeling the feet on the floor or the toes on the floor, whatever you've got going there, really connecting with the earth and breathing. You got it into our pelvic floor. Spine is straight. We feel the expansion super low here, right down the bottom, the belly, the pelvic floor. Feeling it at the back and the hips. As deep as we can go with the breath here. It's so beneficial. This is such a powerful pose because it asks that we have mobility in the ankle joints. It's opening up our hips. We're breathing into that very important pelvic floor, which as women, we know we have to take good care of. And we're even massaging our organs down there because we're kind of scrunched up. Twists and folds are really beautiful for the organs because we actually are compressing them, right? And then when we release that, it's like a massage. So another really great thing yoga is for our organs, our endocrine system. All right, up, planting our hands in front of us, up in the toes for a moment as we regroup. Then we'll press the hands, press the feet, lowering the heels down into our forward fold. Finding whatever's comfortable. Knees can be super soft here. Feeling the feet very connected to the earth. Letting the head and shoulders hang straight down, really loose. Again, soft knees, feet connected. Let's take the opposite elbow and the opposite hand. You know this one. We're just going to do a bit of moving around, exploring, bobbing up and down, side to side, front to back, whatever feels lovely. Just getting a little deeper. I feel it in my hamstrings. And I love the feeling of my neck and shoulders, really letting go here. Feeling the feet, always connecting the feet. Pressing them into the earth. The more we press the feet down, the bigger a stretch we get in the back of the legs. Doesn't matter how bent the knees are. Mine are pretty bent. Just working with what's comfortable for you in this stretch. Letting the hands go. Let's place the right hand on the left ankle. Take the left hand to the left hip. Turn into that twist. The gaze coming with it. And the hand can float up if you wish. It can go all the way up into that twist. Feet connecting once again. Really feel them on the floor. And we'll change sides. Take the left hand to the right ankle. The right hand on the right hip. Turning into the twist. Hand drifting up if you wish. Lovely, lovely. Breathing. Let's let those hands drop back down. Pressing through the feet. Rooting down to slowly roll up through the spine. Vertebrae stacking on top of vertebrae. Very slow, very beautiful, very gentle, very controlled. Breathing the whole time as we come on up to our Tadasana, our mountain pose. I'm just going to adjust my phone here a little bit. Sinking the feet into the earth. Opening our palms outwards. Rolling back our shoulders. Lifting our hearts. Feet rooted. Nice and tall. Now let's Speaking of the feet, let's root them down even more. Let's dial them away from each other. So as we're pressing down, that right foot is dialing clockwise, that left foot is dialing counterclockwise. Feel that engagement in the pelvis, in the abdominals, tucking the pelvis underneath, really working the feet, activating them to get those abdominals kicking into the game. Lovely and tall, open heart. Let's breathe our hands up, steeple the fingers, exhale to the right side, take a gaze towards the underside of that left elbow. We'll breathe that back on up. We'll exhale to the other side, keeping the feet grounded, looking up at that elbow. Breathing back to center. This is moon or reed pose over that first side and making sure that opposite foot is staying connected into the earth. Done. Bringing it back up with the breath. Exhaling to that second side. Beautiful and tall. Back to center. Let's drop our hands down just to shoulder height. Palms upward. Roll the shoulders back. Let's breathe in. Exhale. Turn towards the right side. Just your torso. Keeping the feet sinking into the earth. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling other side. Now the body will follow the gaze. So let the gaze take you back. Inhaling to center. Palms are upwards. Energize through the fingers. That's second side, first side, sorry. And back to center with the breath. Exhaling to that second side. Back to center, lovely. And while we're standing, before we get too tired, let's do the Christmas tree thing. We're gonna do our tree pose. We're already standing. Let's just do it. Let's sink our weight, ground ourselves into the right foot. Getting nice and tall through the spine. You're welcome to grab onto a wall, a chair, if you got your exercise machine beside you. For stability, grab onto something if that feels safer and more stable. Meanwhile, we are imagining a beautiful red root winding from the sole of that right foot down to the earth, wrapping around a big stone to get us really stable so that other foot can float on up to find either the ankle, below the knee, or above the knee into our tree pose. And it's a Christmas tree, so do whatever you want to do with your hands. Do you want your arms to be a peak at the top? Do you want them open, boughs with decorations hanging? Finding your version of your tree tonight. And like I said, of course, the ankle can be down here. That's a beautiful tree. Whatever feels most available. It's not about getting your leg up high or getting your arms up. It's about finding your balance. What will assist with that is finding a drishti point, which is an unmoving point in the distance. So gazing straight ahead, locking your eyeballs into something straight ahead of you that's not moving. And we're breathing into that stabilizing leg, relaxing the face. Couple more breaths. Now releasing that, before you let the leg go entirely, let's let the hand find the ankle, the knee pointing straight down. I'm going to turn to the side. Knee is straight down. This might be enough if we want more. How do we do that? We press that back foot into the hand and it tips us forward. We can reach with the opposite hand, grabbing onto something if you wish. For stability, this is called dancer pose. Find your version. Doesn't have to be here. This can be dancer. Hanging onto something is dancer. It's simply inviting that foot to press against the hand to find a little more extension. Breathing. Relaxing the face, making sure you're breathing, smiling, and let's shake that out. Shake out your feet, and we'll make our way to the other side. Finding that left foot stable on the ground, maybe imagining that red root winding down through the earth again, wrapping around a big red stone in the earth's core, stable, strong, secure, allowing that right leg to find its safe landing place. Whichever arms you choose, it can be down at heart center, They can be out to the side. Whatever feels really beautiful. Breathing into your tree, into that stabilizing leg. Relaxing the jaw and the tongue and the lips and the brow. Tall through the crown. Staring at that drishti point, that unmoving point, helps with the balance. I tell you, ladies, if you do a little bit of balance work every day, it's so much safer out there in the ice. Every time I kind of slip a bit and catch myself, I thank my balance poses, because I know darn well that I'm 60 years old. If I wasn't working on my balance, I may not be as stable as I feel. But I do a little bit every day, and it just doesn't take a lot, but it's just kind of getting that muscle memory, getting that stability. Now releasing out of that, letting the hand find the ankle, knee straight down to the earth. Again, this might be enough. If you want more, we can press a foot into the hand, reach that left hand forward into our dancer pose. Joyous pose, an energetic pose, reaching for our goal, reaching for what we want. Tonight, tomorrow, Christmas, next year, reaching forward to just grasp all of that goodness. And then in go of that, we'll shake it out. And let's meet at the front of our mats. Take a drink on the way if you like. I'm gonna grab my water bottle. All right, at the front of our mats, find our nice stable feet. Roll back your shoulders. Hips, feet are about shoulder width apart. We'll breathe our hands up. We'll exhale, dive it down with a flat back. Lowering our hands to the earth into our forward fold. So nice. Let's breathe part way up to flat back. Let's exhale, plant the hands. We'll step it back 1 foot and then the next one, and we'll drop down our knees, flatten our feet, put our shoelaces on the earth. Organizing our hands, there's that word again, which I use so often, planting them underneath our shoulders, dialing them away from each other. So the right hand is trying to go clockwise, the left hand is trying to go counterclockwise, feeling that engagement of those strong muscles in the shoulders and the arms with that activation of the hands. Let's breathe in, and we'll slowly, with beautiful control, lower down, keep the elbows in tight so they're going to kiss the ribs as we lower down. Down we go. When we get there, we'll inhale to press our hands into the earth. Keep the elbows in. Exhale down. Keep the engagement. Keep the hands pressing and dialing out. Elbows in to breathe in to lift our hearts. Exhale down. This is a strong movement, right? It's very small, but when we activate like this, breathing to lift, exhaling to lower, we really activate the arm and our shoulder muscles, and we're protecting our elbow joints by activating. Down we go. Now tucking our toes, inhaling, pressing through our hips, floating up, all the way up and over, dropping hips onto heels, forehead towards the earth, into our puppy pose. Breathing in the belly, breathing in the back. And noticing that beautiful stretch right through the toes, right? You feel that? Especially the big toes, they get a beautiful stretch here. Feeling the back expand as we breathe in. I love this pose. Big, beautiful breaths. Again. Now let's breathe on up to our tabletop. Open up our feet, put the tops of our feet back in the floor. Reorganize our hands, get them under our shoulders, press them into the earth. Dial them out, shoulders back, elbows in, breathing in. Exhale to slowly lower down. Inhale to press into the earth, lift our hearts, elbows in always. Exhaling down. 2 more of those. Inhaling to press our hands down, lift our hearts. Exhaling down, beautiful control. We're activating through the arms, so we're really working here, working the shoulders, working the arms, inhaling up. Exhaling down, tucking your toes, inhaling up to press to the floor, hips coming up and over, and exhaling as we drop them onto the heels once again. Breathing into this puppy pose, loving the stretch in the toes, reaching with the fingers, beautiful and tall. All right, back to our tabletop. Let's press our toes into the earth to lift our hips up into a downward facing dog. Pressing to the hands, inviting the heels down, shoulders away from the ears, nice and flat through the back, between the shoulders. A couple more breaths in our downward facing dog. Loading our weight onto our our left foot, and letting that right foot slowly float up. Like there's a string on it, someone's pulling it, keeping the hips square to the floor, don't let them turn out. They want to turn to the outside, right? Don't let that, keep them straight to the floor, and you'll feel the heat when you get to the top. It gets warm there. So breathing into that warmth, the top of your range, keeping the hips square to the floor, really important. Let's breathe in. Let's exhale that knee gently to the nose. We'll squeeze the belly button to the spine at the same time. Inhale to reach, nice and slow, keeping the hips square. Exhale and squeezing the belly button to the spine, knee to nose. We'll do 2 more. We're inhaling to reach. We're exhaling to squeeze. Ooh. Inhaling to reach, last time. Exhale, bringing that foot all the way through with beautiful control between the hands. Use your hands to help if your foot needs some help to get there. Now, as always, that back leg can be straight or we can bend it. Take the version that feels best and safest and most available for you. We have that front foot in front, looking for that nice right angle on the knee so we can go straight down, pressing through the foot into the floor. I always say this, planting the left hand on the inside of the foot, pressing the foot down, 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 feeling the hips float on up as we take our right hand to that right hip into the twist. Hand can float up if it wishes, and keeping that front foot pressing down. If your back leg is straight, pressing through the big toe mound, looking up at that top hand. It's a very strong twist. Breathing into it. Dropping that hand now at the inside of the foot. Both hands on the inside. Take your pencil with your right hand. Draw a line behind the heel, a semicircle, and your hand will land on the outside of the foot. Plant it strongly, opening that right knee and hip outwards into the support of that bent right knee. This is a supported dragon pose. Pressing to that back leg, or if your knee's bent, feeling that pressing of the knee against the elbow. Breathing. Releasing that. Draw that circle back to the inside of the foot. Plant the hand. Now we have both hands on the inside of that front foot. Turning that back leg, the left leg, so the foot is facing forward. Pressing that right hand down beside that right foot and lifting up into this opening on the other side. Breathing, pressing that foot straight down, still letting the hips float upwards with the action of that front foot pressing down. Breathing. Beautiful, everybody. Bring that hand back down. Turn that back foot to face the regular way again. Let's take both hands on that front knee. Take a couple of breaths here in this crescent lunge. Hips nice and square. That left hip is invited towards the earth, making sure it's square. If we want a little more, we can lift up that moon, take our gaze with it. Breathing nice and tall. Pressing through that back big toe mound, reaching upwards, breathing and smiling. Nice. Let's bring those hands down to the earth, either side of the foot, and that front foot will bring it all the way up and back into a beautiful and welcome three-legged dog. Breathing, keeping the hips square. Let's lower that leg down, walk out the dog. Walking through the feet, we can take them narrow. We can take the feet to the outside of the mat, make a wide dog. A hot dog, any kind of dog you want. Back to center, to our still point, finding our down dog by pressing the hands forward, inviting the heels to the earth, nice and strong. Let's breathe in. Exhale, take the nose to the left elbow crease. Inhale to center. Exhale, nose to the right elbow. Inhale, center. Exhale, nose left. Inhale, center. Exhale, nose right. Lovely, back to center. Loading our weight on the right foot this time. And that left foot with the flexed foot's going to slowly float upwards, keeping the hips square. Once again, till you find the burn, you find the heat. Breathing into that heat. Hips square, so we're not turning outwards. Keeping that left hip square to the floor. We don't go as high this way, but it's much more powerful. Let's breathe in. Let's exhale. Draw that knee to the nose. Squeeze the belly button to the spine. Breathe in to reach. Exhale to squeeze. Breathe in to extend. Exhale to squeeze. Doing two more. And exhaling. Last one. Inhaling to reach. Exhale, bring the foot all the way through between the hands. Good job. Looking for a right angle. The knee over the ankle. Pressing the right hand. The inside of that right foot. Use a block if you wish. Pressing that foot straight down. Remember the fence post? We're driving it down. Hip floats up so we can turn towards that hand on the hip. Float up if we wish. And once again, I always say bend that knee if that feels better. This stretch and twist works just as well with a bent knee. Just a little bit different. But it's what's available to you. What your body wants to have happen. Breathing in this twist, keeping that front foot pressing down, activating those big muscles in the quads, hamstrings, hip flexors. Bringing that hand back down to the inside of the foot. Find your pencil, draw that semicircle behind the heel, plant the hand on the outside of the foot, opening that left knee and hip into the support of that hand. Nice long spines. Feeling that stretch right through that big toe of that back straight leg. Breathing. Let's release that. Bring that pencil back behind the heel, the inside of the foot. Plant the hand. Hope I'm not going too quickly. Now the right foot that's behind us, I'm going to be turning my back to you, turning that foot towards the other side. Planting the left hand on the inside of that foot so we can open up into that twist on the other side. Breathing, opening, pressing through the feet. One more breath. Let's bring that hand down. That back foot turning to the front again. Pressing that front foot all the way straight down so we can bring the hands straight onto the knee. Finding our stability by pressing that front foot straight down, pressing back through that big toe mound. This might be just a perfect place. If you want a little more, we can raise the moon up above us. Take our gaze with it. Breathing into our crescent lunge, pressing through the feet, finding our stability by pressing down into the earth. Breathing. Now sweeping those hands back to the earth, planting them and inviting that front foot to come all the way back into our three-legged dog. Doesn't that feel nice? All right, ladies, let's come down, bring our knees down to the outside of the mat. Feet meeting in the middle, finding a nice wide-legged child's pose. Forehead to the earth, bowing down. Lovely. Coming back up, bring our knees to the center of the mat. Placing our hands either side of the bent knees. Let's take our hips to one side and our gaze to the other. Dropping our hips to one side. Nice stretch here. Breathing. Now breathing those hips back up to center and to the second side. Back to center, finding our tabletop position. Again, I've said this before, if your mat is thin like mine, you can roll it, get another couple of layers of yoga mat between your knees and your floor. So if that's gonna feel comfy on your knees, I invite you to do that. I just did it because I've got my skinny mat. I'm using it because it's red and it's Christmas, so I want to use my red skinny mat. Okay, our tabletop. Hands under shoulders, hips over knees. Let's press our shoelace into the earth. Let's press our fingers, our hands into the earth. Let's do that dialing out of the hands, pressing them down, dialing them out like our right hand's on a big knob, turning clockwise. Our left hand's on a giant knob, or turning it counterclockwise. We're pressing the shoelaces, feeling that activation really strong. Hey, let's breathe in as we lift our hearts. Exhale, rounding the spine, tucking our tails. Keep just the right amount of activation that feels really good for you. Breathing up to lift our hearts. The more you activate, the more you'll feel it tomorrow in your shoulders and your arms and your abdominals, because we can get, with this little bitty cat-cow, we can get a whole body workout if we're pressing our shoelaces and activating through the hands. Hey, do you feel it? I feel all my arms, my shoulders, my abs, my legs. I feel everything working here. It's like going to the gym without having to do it. Rounding, keeping the activation. Just try it. Really find your edge. Can you take a little more with it feeling really good? And let's do last one. And releasing the activation. Whew, that felt good. Let's extend the left leg behind us. Turn that foot forward. Plant the foot. Plant the right hand, the right knee, the right lower leg, back of the foot, as we lift that arm up into our gate pose. Finding our stability here. This might be enough if you want more. The invitation is to take the hand over the arm. If you want even more, we can let that back leg float on up. Finding our stability by pressing into the earth. Breathing into this gate pose. Find your version of it. Breathing the whole time, relaxing the face, which can take some tension. Let's release that. Come back down. Find the knees forward. That hand that was up, we'll slide it underneath, palms upwards, along the floor, dropping the shoulder to the earth, into thread the needle, and that right arm can stay on the ground. You can wrap it around your waist. Breathing. Let's release that. Find our tabletop again. I'm just going to flip around. So facing the right way. All right, with our hands planted, extending the right leg long. I think that would be the opposite leg from last time. Pointing that toe straight behind us. Let's turn that foot to plant the sole of the feet. Notice that the hip rotates outwards, right? Planting that left hand. Finding a one plane, the hand, the knee, the shin, the foot, back to that grounded right foot behind us as we open up into our gate. Finding our stability by pressing down, reaching up, grounding down. We can stay here if you want more. We can invite that hand to reach over the head. If you want more, we can float. Someone falling over. Float that back leg up into a balanced pose, finding stability once again by pressing down with a hand and the shin and the knee and that foot reaching. Making sure you're breathing. Nice. 2 more breaths. Let's release that. Find our tabletop again. This reaching hand, the right hand, is going to slide underneath that open gateway, palm upwards, fingernails along the floor as we lower the shoulder down to the earth. And stay there with that left hand planted, or we can drape it around the back of the waist. Breathing. All right, let's slowly unwind from this pose. We'll bring that hand back. And we're going to make our way out of our backs. If you want to grab a drink on the way there, go for it. Going to make our way out of our backs. Keep our knees bent and bring them with us to our chest for another beautiful hug of self-compassion, self-love. Just give it all to yourself. Gosh, you deserve it. Let's rock back and forth. Give some love and energy and warmth and massage to our lower back, to our kidneys, to our adrenal glands. Lots of love. Breathing into those areas. Boy, that feels lovely, hey? Let's release the feet. Plant the soles of the feet on the earth with bent knees. Flattening our palms on the floor. Finding our stability again by pressing the feet, pressing the hands, pressing the upper arms and the shoulders. Feeling the back of the head connected and the sacrum, that Bodhi triangle between the hips. Breathing into all that connection. And now pressing the feet and the hands and the shoulders. Down, down, down. Pressing hard. Feeling our hips just as if by magic floating up like they're filled with helium and they're rising upwards because we're pressing down. Taking all the weight off the hip joint because guess who's doing the work? Our shoulders, our arms, our quads, our hamstrings, our glutes, our feet, right? So our joints are on holiday, not getting any strain or stress. The work's being done by the big guys, the big guns, the big muscles that are designed for this work. The ones we get nice and toned by doing yoga, the ones that really keep us strong and stable and supported. The ones we can count on. Let's breathe that right hand up and over. Exhale behind our heads to reach, big stretch. Keeping our bridges tall by pressing down. Inhale that hand up and over and down. Left hand, inhale it up and over. Exhale it back. Keep our bridge tall so the ships can sail underneath. Left hand floating up with the breath down to the earth. Let's do one more each side. Right hand back. Breathing it back up and over. And the left arm. Exhaling it back. Bringing the hips down the floor with that hand. And our knees into our chest for some more rocking. Little bit lovingly on the hips. Let's draw a circle in the air with our knees, shall we? Using the breath to draw the circle. Change in direction. Now keeping the right knee tucked in Extending the left one along the floor. So nice. Letting the right hand slide down the outside of the right leg below the knee. Opening that right knee outwards to the outside of the body. The right elbow can rest on the floor for support. Let's extend our left hand, along the floor, palm upwards. Breathing into this opening of the hip. Using the support of that elbow, that hand. Now we'll breathe that knee across, lovingly take it with the left hand, guide it across the left side of the body. Open the right arm, long palm up, take our gaze to that extended hand, feeling that right shoulder melting open. Breathing into the twist, into the opening of the shoulder. Coming back with that knee, bending the left knee, planting the left foot on the floor, gently placing the right foot above the bent left knee, opening that right knee outwards to the side. Supine pigeon, pigeon pose on the floor. This might be perfect. This might feel really lovely. If you want a little more, we can breathe in. On the exhale, we can draw that left knee towards the nose, finding your sweet spot. And if you want more, that left foot can float all the way up into a number 4. So just find the version, find the amount of depth that feels good tonight on this side. Be gentle with yourself. Always take out of judgment. We never go there. Yoga is all about self-acceptance. Recognizing, accepting where we are right now, this moment, in this posture. Dropping that foot down on the floor. Let's cross that left bent knee over the right bent knee over the left bent knee. Open up our wings, palms down. Take our knees to the right, our gaze to the left. Breathing so deeply. Now we'll breathe those knees up across center. Take them to the left side. Take our gaze to the right. So nice. Coming back to center. Bringing both knees in for a hug. Forehead can come up to the knees if you like. Getting nice and tall, little tiny ball. Just like we started out on this planet. And now we'll extend the right leg long. Let our head lower back to the floor. Keeping the left knee into the chest. Taking that left knee below the knee with the left hand. Opening up that left hip to the outside. Left elbow resting on the floor for support. And extending that right arm long, palm upwards. Breathing in this beautiful hip opening. Notice the hips are connected to the floor. The shoulders are connected. Now we'll breathe that knee across the midline. Take it gently with the right hand. Guide it to the right side of the body. Extend the left arm long, palm up. Take the gaze there as well. Letting that shoulder melt open. I love this. So nice with the shoulder to open like this. Let's breathe that knee back to center. Bend the right leg, plant the right foot on the floor. Gently place the left foot on top of the bent right knee, opening that left knee outwards. There we go. Feeling our shoulders connected, our hips square. If you want to stay here, this is beautiful and perfect. If you want a little more, we can breathe in. On the exhale, drawing that right knee towards the nose, finding your sweet spot and allowing, if you wish, that right leg to float up. Number 4 position. Again, finding your version of this, whatever feels really lovely. Breathing deeply, relaxing the facial muscles. Dropping the right foot to the floor,
letting that left bent knee float over the right bent knee, opening up our arms long, palm upwards. Let's take our knees to the left, our gaze to the right. Deep, beautiful breaths. Breathing the knees back across the center line. Exhaling them to the right side, taking our gaze to the left. So nice. Breathing. Back to center. Now I'm taking our feet all the way up to the ceiling. Let's find some toes or the inside or the foot with the hands into our happy baby where the knees drop either side of the torso. Let's explore. Let's have fun by bending and straightening, moving around. Legs and feet can stay open or they can come to the center. We can bicycle them if we wish. Just having fun, messing around, playing around. I love finishing a practice with a happy baby. Just feels so loving. And transitioning from a happy baby with feet down on the floor, let's give ourselves a beautiful stretch. Hands overhead, feet long. And guess where we're going now, ladies? We're transitioning into our Shavasana. So whether that means lying on your back or turning over onto a side, taking a pillow for your head or between your knees, just get super comfy. And just take a couple of minutes just for you. Breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling the beautiful expansion of the inhale, the release of the exhale. Finding ourselves in our breath. Finding ourselves in the present moment through the breath. Calming, soothing, aligning, releasing. The magic and beauty and the power of the breath. Let's bring some gentle movement into the neck, maybe taking the nose from one side to the other side. You can draw a line in the air with our nose very smoothly, very gently, very slowly. Maybe as we're doing so, bringing a little bit of movement in the fingers and the toes, the ankles and the wrists. Coming back to your body, back to your mat, back to the room. And when you're ready, slowly making your way on to your right side, maybe cradling your head with your hands, your arms on the way, whatever feels really intuitive and natural and lovely and safe. Breathing. And when you're ready in your own way, making your way
Back into a seated position where we started. I invite you to meet me here. Taking your time. And when we find our seated position, sinking our hips into the earth, lifting up our hearts in joyful gladness and gratitude, feeling the smile on our lips, the lifting through our crown. Now let's breathe our hands up, embracing, encompassing, enlarging, empowering. Exhale, squeezing those hands down to our heart center. Now taking out that intention that you said earlier. Bringing it between your hands, feeling the power of it, the warmth of it, turning it into a beautiful white shimmering light, a ball of energy, of love, of warmth. Now separating that into 2 balls of energy, 1 in each hand, opening the arms up, inhaling, lifting up that intention, lifting it skyward, lifting it heavenward. Gaze follow, hearts lifted, bringing that intention down to your heart center, sealing it there. Let's do that one more time, taking that white light of energy of intention, inhaling it, lifting it up, offering it upwards. Exhaling, bringing it down to your beautiful heart center, sealing it there. And maybe just tucking it in beside your heart, taking that beautiful white energy, that love, that gratitude, and sealing it inside your heart space. Feeling it there, feeling its warmth, feeling its power, feeling it as love and joy and gratitude and abundance and resilience, all those things that we want for ourselves and for our loved ones and for the planet. Love, joy, gratitude, abundance, resilience. If you could add anything to that, please do. Tucking it all into our heart space. Feeling it, owning it, embracing it. I'd like to say a very, very special thank you to all of you for joining me today and on Monday evenings. It's just such a highlight of my week. I'm humbled by your presence, by your trust in me. I'm humbled by the choice that you're making to take this time of self-love, to fill your cup. I acknowledge all of you and your warm, generous, beautiful hearts and the beautiful energy that together is life-changing and planet-changing. It does change things. Thank you. Merry Christmas. God bless. Namaste. Stay with me. I'll just turn off the recording.